Not sure timer was working perfectly the other day. All of a sudden it's stopping on 05. June 15th, 2020. It is 8:41 p.m. This is 7270 while I'm in Colorado Springs. That'll make sense to me. Cimarron Hills area, roughly around Shawnee Drive. A lot of electronic interference, cellular interference, social interference. Was just at a store, Safeway, off of North Powers Boulevard, and they're still running their socialistic rings, socialism, and outright, I don't deserve life. I need to quit. I'm violating family values or some shit. And now we're talking about people that I've never seen in my life practically, just like New York City and everywhere else. Interstate stalking and creating social, basically, cartel rings, utilizing the enforcement of civil suits or civil sobriety and outright just public uh, integrity for themselves, in public character, and while they're characteristically assassinating me and character discrimination in the community, running their mouth, threatening under their breath, or making innuendos of like I'm too disgusting to be around, which is partially their fault to begin with. But this is everywhere. It's not a discretion of such as, you've been around and you're a nasty person or whatever. This is everywhere. They're not here to help me. They're not here to benefit. They're not here, well, go take care of yourself and get better and we won't do this, because they're still doing it. And even with the exhortation of getting better, they ain't doing shit but we'll break you down, we'll fuck you off, excuse the lingo, the intimidation. You don't fuck with us. I will fucking put these bitches in the fucking ground in a minute after the feds and the DEA gets involved again. Even though, hey, all this shit, they was semi involved publicly, just like these guys want to walk around publicly and doing their shit. Law enforcement should be standing up, but there's also corrupt law enforcement and the sabotage situation these guys have induced. Complete character assassination. I catch you one more time running rings around my shit, I'm not only going to persecute, I will take you back to those who just told you, fuck all of these motherfuckers, quit breaking our backbone having your entertainment, like New York City, trying to threaten, intimidate people out there, coerce, entice them into ideals, and then when the ideals run out, when the feeling of goodness runs out, just outright dumping people like in the trash, or just even statehood, citywide shit of trying to enforce intimidatedly that they have power. They have the right to empower shit because I'm mentally retarded. My family has to give some type of caregiving, or else I'm disrupting family values or somebody else's character value in my family. Running Skate City, running the West Side Bottoms, Columbus, Ohio, Stanley family, all kinds of mixed up shit that I've talked about. But running all of this shit from the west side of Columbus for a damn lifetime, all the way here to Colorado Springs, and playing around with shit that happened 23, 26 years ago, this, that, all the others, and playing drug dealers rather than law enforcement, then flipping around and being associated law enforcement. It is nothing but a psychological assault to the maximum. People got involved in New York City, and when they get involved, go take care of yourself then. Well, I started to take care of myself, and what happens when the system involves? Oh, nah, fuck that shit. We rule. We'll do whatever we want to. So I'm done. Electronic interference here. 2 minutes, add 3. I just had, 4 or 5 minutes there talking to myself here real quick. But anyways, I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to post it. Electronic interference. Some bitch went up to an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 58 minutes, 42 minutes, 20 minutes. All of a sudden having problems. Today also cellular problems. I'm done tired of the homosexual connection to everything too. Homosexual value, and somebody trying to imply that I utilize some type of social value like a system community chest or a systematical. Basically, these are our values. You as in public utilizing that in New York City and elsewhere. I've been all over the United States. I walked 8,000 miles and they was interstate stalking. And your family has the rights to control that because they're a part of those values that you're exerting in public. Fuck that whole goddamn 9 yards. I'll get the damn system involved again and sacrifice supposedly all this supposed gangland, cartel, mafioso, government spyage, United States spy, CIA, because of the Collins involvement, the Hayden's involvement, and all the rest of the shit. And outright, it's already been trashed once, just like in New York. And then them having what, like I keep saying, they're like, go get help. How much more help? When they got involved, and all of a sudden, it's just completely, boom, no, fuck that. We ain't getting our way. We don't have any power. We'll harm and hurt you anyways. So you're not looking, you're not enforcing, they're not enforcing a system, making demands, making requests publicly, and then getting all pissed off when demands are met or they're not allowed to have any power to it. So they're not making demands intentionally to get help or have a good situation. They're doing it intentionally as basically a thug, strong-armed ring of whatever the fuck they are. I'm going to go ahead and press stop on this video. I'm out. Target of Unlawful Acts .com, all the rest of the bullshit. I'm finished with the socialism. You're mentally retarded. If that's the case, the psychologist already said I've been psychologically assaulted to the point it's shut my mind down. It literally is reflecting back to physical health that can cause and resort in physical death, and the psychological assault doing that could be come up with manslaughter. Me being put under some type of community commitment that doesn't exist, just like in Columbus, Ohio, is illegal. Law enforcement should pick up on it, except for the corrupt law enforcement. And I said I was going to end this real quick. CBI, even when I went to Washington, D.C., there's already been investigations. That's Colorado Bureau of Investigations. Same thing with local police work, sabotage here, and everything else. I've been sabotaged here in Colorado Springs. I came back trying to get along with the family and got backstabbed to the point that I got picked up on a 13-year-old felony probation warrant failure to comply. These guys intentionally did it, whining and crying everywhere I'm at with compliance, because they're blaming me. If I don't comply, it reflects back onto my family. The family situation was separated, and when that family situation separates, it puts them in jeopardy of being caught, because they're interstate stalking, conspiracy against human rights, sitting there powerless because they don't have the right to do anything, even though they try to find loopholes and whatever. If you're trying to help somebody, you wouldn't be beating them down as hard as you can systematically. I wanted this shit to end the right way. It's not going to end. The system already knows I suffered my whole life with law enforcement being also corrupt and not applying, not enforcing, not helping out the way that they should because of other corruptions and ignorance of their own fucking situation they're enforcing. So the situation's gotten into life-threatening situations. Not only mentally causing physical illness, which is agreed upon by psychologists that work for the county in Columbus, Ohio, and elsewhere, just like New York City, but other life-threatening, intimidating, kidnappings, guns, bitch, you don't play this, calling names, all the rest. You want to go at it? We done went at it before. I'll take you the fuck out like you're taking me out, is the type of mentality to that. And it is legal partially to say that. I don't want a reflection back in these videos or discrimination or anything, because I've talked to the system. Hey, he's utilizing figure of speech, phrases, or enforcement standing his grounds against other people. And I'm saying that from like as if I'm the person telling me when we're sitting there, or telling another person of, hey, this is how that really works. Don't decreditize, don't discriminate, don't bicker at it. Because all I'm doing, because they'll watch these videos, they'll pick up on it either through the website, eavesdropping, and all the rest. They need to understand. I guess I got to stand grounds. Store after store trying to enforce public policy, doing all kinds of dumbass shit. Interstate stalking and conspiracy against human rights at the least. It's time for the feds to break this shit. Time for the DEA to step back into this shit. It's time for the ATF to come question the shit. And I don't expect for me to have any corruption or some foul form where I'm the one getting persecuted rather than fucking being able to apply so I can have a life. That goes also for DOJ that has been around, and somebody trying to exert they got connections just like CBI. Go talk to DOJ. Hopefully somebody hears the outcry, the SOS message and everything that I say, and go ahead and apply what's supposed to be applied. And don't take it out on me that, oh well, it's like you got hit by a car, you're mentally retarded now, so you have to accept that. No, I don't have to accept it fully without victimization rights. Go talk to the psychologists that work for the county, go talk to the people that I came across that gave proper legal advice. Why is that not being followed? Why was anything disregarded? Why haven't you built up evidence the correct way rather than trying to spit in the system and somebody corruptly spitting shit on me? And I know I'm just rambling, and there's a situation just like, I'll explain a situation how it helps and what I'm talking about there. Had corrupt investigators in New York City. New York City's great in one way and bad in another sometimes. It's just like any other place, right? Well, I had somebody start a fire where I was basically living close to and tried to blame it on me. The bad investigators was like, ha ha, caught his ass, got this going, and basically, you know, we could probably at least make him suspect to create a situation, a hysteria stigma in the neighborhood, basically psychologically pitting a psychological weight on me, causing more berserkness on top of everything else that's going on, a more unstable situation. Other investigators came out less than a day or 2 days later. They have photographs of me being in Grand Central, per se, turn aisles downtown Manhattan, following my subway pass, doing the correct investigative shit, personal witnesses I was talking to, or where I was, my whereabouts as this fire was going on. So the other investigators like, well, we don't have to work that hard, that's illegal to investigate that hard, that's the way the system works, why not punk him out? And these other investigators says, you know, you're in the dead wrong. And I don't know what exactly happened, but they told me I'm free to go, and if I have any stagnation from it, which I had to leave within a couple of weeks after trying to basically build up, or, you know, build the evidence against what was happening, other sabotage situations happen to the maximum. So these guys are in here mafioso banging in the harshest way, and even the damn mob is in there. You got people in here outright breaking not just systematical backbones, but they're breaking and trying to outright, in the figure of speech, breaking the backbones of even well organized shit. Anyways, with that being said, wasn't able to report back to the system to have internal affairs come in and bust that situation. No different than what's happened here in Colorado Springs, where way back 15 years ago, that's why I left, because of the corruption and all the rest of the shit, where IA was throwing my reports in the trash. 2 years after all my complaints, people, you're psycho, it's this, that's because you're psycho, they didn't listen, or you don't have anything substantial enough to complain about, they got busted. IA was busted with doing exactly what I said, also not properly taking reports, and criticizing and threatening people of the reports that they give. If they try to enforce it, they'll conjure up some type of criminal charge or disorderly conduct for making the complaint so harsh that it needs to go through. Anyways, ending this video all over a situation at Safeway less than 40 minutes ago now probably, and a place at Papa Murphy's, other things being said, things like Ohio. I'm in Colorado Springs right now from Ohio. Who is copping and spying on me? Who is creating the organized profiling rings? Even though there's civil patrol, there's civil shit, and understandings of community keeping an eye out on a suspect or whatnot. Not the way they're doing it. It is fraudulent. It is governmentally fraudulent and found elsewhere being and done so. With that being said, I'm in an immediate danger basically, and I cannot contact the law enforcement out here due to the fact of me making the complaints against them many years ago, and including all the way up into New York City, even publicly putting it out that there is something fraudulent, corrupted going on with agreeance with power, but I never made paperwork charge myself to be able to follow anything up, and possibly, you know, basically somebody getting in trouble, a stigmation, a bad form of saying there's crooked cops, and that puts a bad characteristics attribute on them. It's discrimination against their pride, supposedly, you know, and they didn't like it, so they'll attack back with whatever they got. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I'm freaking finished. My family sabotaged me. The people that's associated with my family, Westside Bottoms, Columbus, Ohio, sabotaged me. 80915 43215 zip codes, and then citywide shit. And there's other people in Columbus that started taking recognition of that shit. I've been psychologically damaged, no different than getting hit by a vehicle and gone mentally retarded by their psychological assaults. Even though I've also went through physical assaults, which also contribute to some of the situation, while there's a masser situation besides just, you know, a gangbanger and mafioso. There's government involved. These guys sabotaged. You struck a match in the wrong place, we're going to convict you of it and utilize government enforcement. That's your fault. Well, it's just something stupid. Or even if it isn't stupid, them applying it is a government grade sabotage situation. Gotcha, sucker. You're never going to have a life. I beat you. I defeated you. I don't give a shit. It's like a cat tearing its own brother and sister up when they're just born. And they'll do that. They'll weed out the weak, kill the other kitten if it isn't strong enough to be a part of the family. And basically is what they're applying to me. And the situation with that is even further than that. Like, as if you don't want nothing to do with the person, and there's people that got involved, all of a sudden they get pissed off because of the involvement, because they lose all of their power. So it's not just like, hey, go do something with yourself and don't affect us. Now it's, we're just beating you up. Press and stop on this video. I'm out. White girl, blonde hair, tattoos, stares, looks, utilizing my older brother Johnny, Jake, and that's his shit, that's their shit. Don't fuck with their shit. Hey, I'm completely 8,000 miles away, different states and all the rest. Plenty far enough away from the person without bothering them. That's where police did get involved a few times with interstate stalking and could never finish it up because there's internal shit, too much power, they don't have enough man force, but I'm not going to give them an excuse because other people says there's no excuse for it. Anyways, with that being said, family situated problems. I'm the family controller, I'm the ruler. Well, you take your family, I have to disband my family from myself type of situation. No different than what was helped out in New York City, and still understanding they're trying to attack. And what I was told by the counselors that showed up, it should be able to be reported to the police and they pick up on it. That's how ignorant the police treat it. Like there's a social profile stigmation against me, not even like is. And that was being investigated, not just in New York City, Colorado, Columbus, all kinds of places. It's just too hard to explain, but anyways, I'm ending this video, and I'll be posting it here in a second. Peace. Hopefully everything's fine with everybody else. Explaining my story and what just happened and recording, and too bad I didn't take pictures of the individual I went to, but under the harshness of quit doing things like that. If my family understood, just like law enforcement, I guarantee law enforcement would stand up and be like, why the hell didn't you help him out? And these mass physical assault, social assault situations, rather than telling him he's worthless, he's mentally retarded, and it's his fault for going through what he's doing, so nobody has to sympathize with it. What a crock of shit. That's family, blood related. I'm done. Press a stop on this video.